Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm 31 years old. And this is my story. The one I kept hidden for 3 years. Until the day I decided to stop pretending. If you met Ethan, you'd understand why everyone loved him. He's the kind of man who pulls chairs out for strangers, remembers your coffee order after one meeting, and always finds the right words when you're falling apart. He saved me. I was 27 when we met. My life was a quiet disaster. Therapy appointments I didn't show up for, a job I barely held on to, and the kind of silence at home that wrapped around your throat. My parents died a few years earlier in a car accident, and I never really recovered. But even before that, things were always tense. Growing up, I watched my parents go from wealthy entrepreneurs to broken people overnight. One day, we had a family business, weekend trips, and a future. The next, we were bankrupt, homeless, humiliated. They never told me exactly what happened, just that we were outmaneuvered, set up, taken down. My dad stopped smiling. My mom stopped talking. I stopped asking questions. Ethan came into my life during one of those gray, heavy months when everything felt pointless. He was a guest speaker at a conference I helped organize. He was talking about second chances in business, but all I could hear was how calm he sounded. How safe. We got coffee afterward, then lunch. Then I opened up to him like I never had with anyone before. I told him about my depression, about losing my parents, about feeling like I was broken beyond repair. He never flinched, never judged. He just held my hand and said, "Sometimes life tears us down to show us what we're really made of." I fell hard. We moved in together 6 months later. Married at City Hall a year after that. No big ceremony. Just us. A bottle of champagne, and a promise I thought would last forever. For 3 years, he was everything. Supportive, loving, patient. The kind of partner people write novels about. Until one rainy Saturday afternoon. We were clearing out our storage unit. Something we'd put off for months. Cardboard boxers, photo albums, old electronics. And then I found it. A file folder labeled in my dad's handwriting. Legal menos 2007, my heart stuttered. I sat down on the concrete floor, cross-legged, and opened it. Inside were copies of documents I hadn't seen in over a decade. The bankruptcy filing, letters from lawyers, newspaper clippings, and a name, over and over again, stamped in ink like a curse. Ethan Warner. I froze. It didn't make sense. Ethan was my husband. But this Ethan Warner, the one mentioned in the acquisition documents, in the signatures, he was the executive from the company that took over my family's business. He was the reason we lost everything. I closed the folder, opened it again. Same name, same signature, same face. His face, in an old business article printed off and tucked in the back. He knew. He had to know. I walked back into the apartment like a ghost. "Hey babe, find anything interesting?" He called out from the kitchen. I didn't answer. I needed time. Not to forgive, but to understand how someone could look me in the eye every morning and still keep a secret that big. A secret that burned down my childhood, and then married the ashes. I didn't confront him right away. I lived with it with him. For 2 more weeks. 2 weeks of pretending to kiss the man I trusted. 2 weeks of lying in bed next to someone who once dismantled my entire family and watched it burn from a corner office. I needed to be sure. I searched old databases, business merger articles, press releases, and there he was. Ethan Warner, 24 at the time, fresh-faced, ruthless, and already nicknamed the Silent Wolf. In business circles, the articles praised him for cutting dead weight and restructuring outdated family-run businesses. My family's company was listed as one of his first successes. I remember my father crying in the garage because he couldn't afford to keep the lights on. I remember my mother pawning her wedding ring. This man, who now cooked me breakfast and kissed my forehead every night, called that a success. So I planned something of my own. Our 3rd wedding anniversary was coming up. Ethan, of course, wanted something intimate, classy. I suggested a dinner party. Just close friends and a few business associates. Nothing too flashy. He smiled. "You've always been good at this stuff." I smiled back. I learned from the best. We booked a private rooftop venue. I told him I'd handle everything. The guest list, the catering, the speeches. And I did. Every minute of it. I had the projector brought in. Set it to autoplay a surprise anniversary tribute. He didn't even ask what it was. He trusted me. Big mistake. The night arrived. Everyone dressed in champagne and confidence. Ethan held my hand as we walked in. He looked proud. I waited until dessert. "Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Tonight isn't just about celebrating 3 years of marriage. It's about celebrating truth." "And me?" Ethan looked confused. Slightly amused. "Some of you may not know this," I continued, "but when I was 15, my family lost everything. And tonight, I want to introduce you to the man responsible." I clicked the remote. The screen behind me lit up. Old photos, legal documents, headlines. His name, his face. Ethan Warner, the Silent Wolf. Gasps. A few awkward coughs. I turned to him. 3 years ago, you married the girl whose life you ruined when she was still a child. You never told me. You never said a word. So I'm saying it for you." He stood up, jaw clenched. "Jessica, what are you doing?" "I'm finishing something you started." I took off my wedding ring, set it on the table. "Happy anniversary, Ethan." No tears, no screaming. Just heels on tile and my heart finally beating like it belonged to me again. He followed me to the elevator. "Please just let me explain." I turned. "You had 3 years to explain, and 15 before that to make it right." The elevator doors closed between us. I live in a smaller apartment with less furniture and more peace. I started volunteering with women who've survived betrayal and loss, not just from lovers, but from people they were told to trust. I'm still healing, but I'm no longer angry. I got my closure, not because he gave it to me, but because I took it. And I'll never let anyone write my story again without my permission.